Hello and welcome to another Capture the Flag edition of Daryl Show Your Work, episode 92 to be exact. All right, so in this episode, I will be elevating my user privileges by exploiting a misconfigured cron job. All right, and so before I dive any further into what all that is, since I'm going to be doing some red teaming here and or an offensive security related activities, I want to preface this video by giving my usual disclaimer and saying that this is for ethical research and educational purposes only. Any sort of malicious actions that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching my videos, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so to kind of give a high level review of what cron jobs are, because I have covered this in previous videos. There's basically scheduled tasks within Linux. You can schedule different tasks according to day, time, and frequency within Linux to do certain processes, however frequent you want on whatever days you want at whatever time you want. So I'm going to show how I can elevate how someone can elevate privileges by taking advantage of a misconfiguration within this sort of Linux tool. All right, so the first thing I want to do is let's find out where I'm located. So let's do an ifconfig. All right, we're going to move this over here. All right, so it looks like I'm using Ethernet, the Ethernet 1 interface, and I am 192.73.68.2. So then let's see who my neighbors are and who qualifies to be a potential victim. Dash G, and then we want to say 190. Since I'm 192.73.68, my CIDR is going to be 192 73.68.0/24. And so again, this pings all the devices within my local network, and it's going to come back and tell me who's up and running, and I can choose a target based on that. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So 1 is more than likely the gateway. I don't want to mess with that. 2 is myself. So 3 is our lucky choice as usual. Okay, so now that I know that information, I want to show you another cool trick in which we can how another way we can find out if a particular a host is up. So I could do ping, and then I can also do a set count. So I could say dash C, and let's say I wanted to send 4 ICMP packets to that particular to a particular host. So I would just specify the host after I put that dash C and 4 to specify the packets. Then I would say .73.68, and we want to target 3. So let's see if 3 is up. And what this is going to do again, this is just going to send 4 ICMP packets to our target host just to make sure that they are indeed up and running. All right, so 4 packets were transmitted, received, 0 packet lost. So that lets me know that indeed .3 is up and running. So next I want to do some recon. So I'm going to use nmap, and I'm going to conduct a service scan on that. So I'm going to say -sv, and again, let's specify a target host, 73.68.3, and I'm gonna copy that this time because I'm gonna have to use this a bunch here. All right. All right, so we have a bunch of weird looking output here, but the main thing we want to take a look at, if I can narrow down, there we go. Main thing we want to take a look at here is that Not quite there. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Okay, it's here. All right, so we can see that port 8000 is open and it's running HTTP. It's an alternate HTTP port. All right, and it's just let me know exactly what version of that is running. So let's take a trip there, and I'm gonna do something a little different in this video. In this video, I'm just gonna walk right through the front door of this target host, and I'm not going to even bother trying to brute force it or anything like that, because this is more about privilege escalation. So this should just allow me to walk just like, again, just straight through the front door and put me straight into that machine by visiting its web location. All right, and then it was using port 8000. All right, and as you can see, it dropped me right into that machine. So let's increase the zoom, 'cause I don't think I can increase the font here. So I'm just going to try to zoom in just a little more. Okay. So hopefully everybody watching can see that. So I am student at Target. All right. So I am actually inside the Target machine right now. So let's do some preliminary enumeration here. So if I want to see what groups that I'm in, I'm gonna say groups and then student, since I'm the user. So I'm in the student group. All right, and let's see PWD to see what's my local directory. It's home student. All right, so I now know that my commands work within this environment, and of course it shows that I'm in a Linux environment given the type of commands that I was running, and cron jobs are native to Linux. All right, so now I want to be able to see what cron jobs are currently running in this system. So in order to do that, I'm going to say crontab -L for listing those out. All right, so it says no cron tab for student. All right, so I wonder if there's any cron tab for any other types of accounts on this machine here. So I'm gonna do a list all to do some further enumeration here. Okay, so I see so I do see it looks like a file here called message. All right, so let's dive a bit more deep into that and let's see what's going on inside of message. So I'm gonna say cat message. Oh, please have a permissions denied. So I don't even have enough permissions to view what's inside of that file. All right. So this is where I want to start um, uh, trying to conduct that privilege escalation so I can get access to things like the cron tab and be able to have permissions to view certain files. All right. So let's change our directory to the root directory. All right. So cd / allows me to do that. All right. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to be able to search the well, hold on. First of all, let's see what's in there. Okay, so we see a bunch of different directories here listed on the root directory. So if I wanted to see what's in this particular directory, okay, in the user directory from the root directory, I'm going to say grep -rnw /user -e, and then I'm gonna give it the directory within in the user directory that I want to look in. So because I can't, this is going to what's going to allow me to see what the contents of message is. So since I can't do it just through a normal orthodox way as far as doing a list all as student, this is going to help me to be able to see what's in message without necessarily having the permissions to do so. All right. Then in that quote. Okay, hold on. Let's get rid of that. All right, and I should be good to go. Okay, so looking at the output here, which is here, this is what we're looking at. So it seems like there's a shell script right here, this copy dot shell that copies the CP command. What it's doing, it's copying the message file to a temp directory. So again, the copy dot shell file is running this copy command, and it's copying the contents of what's in here into a temp folder called temp message within the message directory. So that's what's going on within message. All right. So let's say we want to view that temp folder. So I'm gonna say list dash al for list all, then slash tmp. All right. So again, we see that we see both a message file, and then we see another file called ready. All right. So let's say now that we're in here, now we're in the temp folder. Let's see if I can then be able to see what the contents of what the other message file is. Excuse me, since I'm in the temp folder, and I may not have it may not have the same restrictions as it does within the in my home directory, and yes, I can't see it. So inside of that file simply says, "Hey, you are not root." All right. So again, that gives me more encouragement to escalate my privileges here. All right, so let's say I wanted to know, well, with this copy shell file, let's say I wanted to know what the permissions are with this particular file. Okay, so I'm gonna say this dash all, then I'm gonna tell it exactly. Pardon the glitchiness of my keyboard and my machine here, my virtual machine here. All right. I'm gonna write this out, then I'm gonna tell you what it's doing. So, well, basically, what's going to happen here? This is going to show me the permissions for the copy.shell file. All right. All right. So if we look specifically right here, all right, and I've covered this in the user permissions in a previous video too. But what this is telling us is that every user and every group has read, write, and execute privileges for this file. All right. So we again that RWX, that's read, write, and execute. So this is for the owner of the file, groups, and then everybody else. So everybody who encounters this file can pretty much do anything they want with it. So let's say that I wanted to see, okay, what is the actual contents of the copy shell script. So I would say cat the user local share, and then copy. Oops, copy dot shell. All right. So what this is going to do again, this is going to show me exactly what's going on inside of that shell script. All right, so quite a few things, even though it's simple, a few simple lines, there's quite a few things going on here. So first, this declaration right here is telling me that this is indeed a bash script. All right, and then this bash script, what it does, it copies the file from my home directory here, all right, it's from that home student message. All right, so it's copying the file from my home directory to the temp folder. All right, and then when it copies that over to the temp folder, it's giving it basically it's giving it a read, write, and permissions or privileges when it does that. So that's what this 644 does. This change modify. It's doing that every time it's moving the file from my local directory to this temp directory, and that explains well how it is that when I tried to read this message file from my home directory, I wasn't able to because I didn't have the right permissions. But then when I tried to read it from the temp directory, I was able to do so because it had when it had migrated that file over into the temp folder. I would then now it didn't require as much permissions, and now I was able to view the contents of that file. So this is what I'm going to exploit as far as the changing of these permissions once it moves it from one directory to the other. So in order to do that, I'm going to write the following line, and after I'm done writing it out, I'm going to explain what each part of this does. All right, do we want to say the bin? Hold on, can I give it the backslash here? Give it a forward slash there and echo. All right, and then student all. See, okay. Then we want to pipe that out. User local share. Let's just fix that. Shell. Okay, let me just check the syntax there. Cross my fingers here that I didn't fat finger something. Let's see, well, that actually looks good. All right. So bin bash and echo student all, no password. Oh, that looks good. Sometimes the biggest thing that I'm concerned about with this command line is sometimes the spacing, because sometimes that'll blow up your command line, your command as well. All right, so what this is going to do. So I didn't use a text. Usually I would use a text editor when putting together a script. And so this is a script, but it's basically me writing a script without a text editor and just writing a script straight up on the command line. And so what this is doing is telling Linux that we want to redirect the bash script to allow the student account, which is me, to have all permissions without a password, all right, and into the sudoers file, and then redirect this command into the copy shell file. All right, and so when it does that, it should have the same effect that it has on this message file, and give me all these privileges, and then I should be able to log. Ideally, I should be able to log in as root. All right, so let's see if we can make that happen here. All right. So it looks like the fact that I did that it didn't come back with any type of error is indicative that it may have worked. All right, so let's see. Now let's see another way we can see if this actually worked. Now let's look at the contents of that copy shell script again and see if the content of that has now changed to what it is that I put here on the command line. All right, so I'm go inside of where that's located. Uh, Copy.shell. All right, so this is again using the cat command to display the contents of the copy.shell, and it looks like indeed it everything should be there. All right, sudo doers. Okay, all right. So I am going to try to run this and let's see what happens. Well, first, hold on before I try to run it. Let's see. I'm gonna do, let's say sudo. So first, I want to see if I'm in the sudo doers group, because that's what's going to. If I'm in that group, then that means I can actually switch to root. So let's check that first. So sudo -l. All right. User student may run the following commands on target. Root, no password. All right, so that lets me know that it worked. So I'm gonna try to do a sudo su. So sudo su is sudo switch user. All right, so switch user is automatically going to enable me to switch to the root account. So let's run that. All right, we can see here that I went from student at target to root at target. So now, excuse me, I am in the root account. So just to verify that, I'm gonna say who am I? All right, and it came back that I'm root. All right, and let's now, all right, let's try to capture the flag. So since that now I'm root, now I can kind of dig in here the way I want to. So let's see what's in what's in the local directory of the root account. So I'm gonna do an ls. All right, let's see. Let's try to. I'm gonna go back actually into the root directory of the root account. So let's say cd slash root, which is again that's right here. All right. So we're gonna jump into that that directory now. Let's do a ls. Bam, there's the flag right there. All right, let's do cat flag to see what the contents of that is. All right, and there's our flag. And again, flag is always symbolic for any sort of sensitive information that we want to modify, delete, exfiltrate, whatever your imagination can think of when it comes to gaining unauthorized access to sensitive information. All right, then another thing is we can now see this modified cron job as well. So I'm gonna say cron tab. Now I should be able to see. Remember, we started this off by trying to run this command and we couldn't find the actual cron job. Now that I'm root, we should be able to. Crontab.l, and we can see this cron job, and basically this part at the beginning, it tells me that it runs every minute. So this is going to basically by this running every minute, it allows me to maintain some level of persistence. All right, so just to give a high level overview of what it is that I accomplished here. So I started off again, find out what my IP address is, and then from there I did a ping sweep to find our target. Once I found our target, did some initial addition, excuse me, some initial recon of that target and found that the HTTP alternative port was used. So since it was running a web-based port, um, opened up our browser, uh, made a visit there, and we walked right into the front door and got access to the machine. So once in there, I tried to view any sort of cron jobs, was unable to. So I listed all the files in the directory, and we found that message file. All right. So, but when I tried to view the contents of that, I wasn't able to see what was going on inside of there because I didn't have the permissions. So we kind of took a shortcut to be able to do that by running that grep dash rnw user command, which basically allowed me to see what was going on um, with any occurrence of that message file. And so once I did, I was able basically to see that it was another copy of that message file in a temporary folder, not just in my user directory. So once I then made a trip to that temporary folder, then I was able to actually view the contents of the message file, which basically told me that, hey, I didn't have any root privileges. All right, so took that as some motivation to get some. All right, so once I did that, I wanted to also wanted to see what was within that copy shell script that we found when I ran that initial grep command. And once I went into there, um, um, I was basically able to see that it was a bash script that copies that message file um, from my home directory to a temporary folder. And but in the process of doing that, it would change the permissions and give it basically read, write, and execute permissions. And so wanted to so basically gave me an idea as far as how I could exploit that process. So instead of um, replacing that message part of that process with my user account, that was a path that I saw as far as attack vector that I saw as far as being able to escalate my privileges. So I ran a command which basically did that, which basically, in so many words, it added my account to the pseudo doers account, which allows me to switch to um, to um, to root, and it also replaced that message part of what was in that copy shell program to basically running an automated process, which would allow me which will allow me to basically um, switch to a root account requiring no password. So I don't even have to know what the system password is to switch to root, and to basically automate that to run in its default setting to run every 1 minute. So once I did that, I tested out that functionality. I looked at the contents of that file to make sure that the changes that I made were there, and then I was able to switch user and enter into a root session, find a flag, and we can see that flag right here. And then I was able to view the cron tab, which I wasn't able to do when I initially logged in as student, and we could see the cron job that was running. We can now see that that runs once every minute, and now within this file, it's allowing me to be able to switch to root every 1 minute. All right. So again, that's allowing me a level of persistence, and it kind of gives us an idea of how an attacker could potentially compromise a um, a cron job to not only elevate their privileges but also to maintain a level of persistence. So that's why it's a good idea that when you do have an automated process like this, to not be very to automate your generosity like this in terms of changing your permissions here every 1 minute, allowing a file just to have read, write, and execute permissions um, 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 every 1 minute like that, because again, someone can easily just replace this TMP message with their own user account like I did and give themselves that same privilege. All right. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself and God